the one thing that happened when I was probably like, around 10 or so is that my father got pretty frustrated with what he was seeing in medicine, meaning he was an anesthesiologist. He got into pain services, became chief of pain management at a big hospital. And he just saw it as he was giving these people crutches and he was doing all he could with his toolkit, but they would get better and then come back worse. And then he'd, patch them up a little bit more, give them some drugs, they would get better and they came back worse. And he saw that and he said, listen, this can't be, what I got into medicine for, to just give temporary fixes and then see him come back worse and with more complaints and not correlating like what we did with the new complaints. And so he, out of that frustration, he started to travel the world and, and said, what else is out there for my patients that I could help them? And being a good father, he didn't want to leave his son behind and his family. And he took us with him. And so when I was young, I got to travel the world, which was awesome. And I didn't know it at the time, but I was going to meet some of the leading experts in different fields. I was going to China and we were, guests of Dr. Omura, who's big into acupuncture and O-ring testing and all these things. And we were going to Oxford University to learn about low-level laser therapies in the late 80s, early 90s, which was very new and cutting edge using lasers in medicine. And, I thought this was normal. I thought this was just like what all doctors did. And this is just medicine, right? Because you don't know that as a kid. You kind of take it for granted. I knew, of course, my friends weren't going to these far off places with their families, but I was like, your dad's not a doctor. That's why.
Yeah.
So, that really kind of guided me into seeing what is out there in the world. What are other cultures using, even at an early age where you're not really studying it, you're experiencing it. You're seeing how people are living differently. And even in impoverished nations, how sometimes they prioritize health and utilize what is available to them for free to optimize their health and combat disease. And so every time my father got back and we came back from a trip, he would have something new with him to try out. And normally he would start with me as the guinea pig. I was the easy one in there and nothing was like too difficult. I mean, acupuncture was a little weird being a young kid and getting needles put in you, but that was really, my whole childhood was being around that and learning about it. So it wasn't until I got into college and really started in the real world that I realized, oh man, like this isn't what most doctors do. This isn't how medicine is. And it really shifted my perspective into, well, why isn't it? And where is the opportunity here? I went to business school. I'm a marketing and finance guy, really. And I was in finance. I was a financial analyst after school. And it just wasn't for me. I didn't have like the creative drive and I didn't see it as a long-term thing for me. So I went back to what I could lean on. What do I know? And what do I know? I know medicine, even though I don't know the ins and outs of biochemistry. I know the medical field and where it lacks. And I know that there are a lot of sick people out there, chronically ill, that are basically incurable, or they'll just have to take a pill to manage their disease, slowly getting worse and worse every year. When I also saw around the world, you could apply these things and change that. And if we applied it in an integrated, comprehensive way and tailored it to each patient, which is what we're doing now, you could really change the face of medicine and the whole idea of what is incurable. So, that's really kind of my backstory to everything. So it's like, I've been in this for 40 years now in this industry.
Yeah.
Even as a little kid, I consider myself working in the industry in some ways and seeing it in those different eyes, as almost a disruptor, an outsider, so to say. I didn't go to medical school. I didn't study medicine. I studied patients. I studied doctors. I studied the world, right? And I observed. So I was just an observer that saw the opportunity and ran with it.